Apology? For what? Man, come on. Really? Outside the box, hit the subscribe button right there on the channel. Click subscribe, hit the bell a second time that says all to let you know that you'll get notified every time we do a video. Let's get right to it. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why we are going round and round the circle about this thing that happened since this man passed away. It's really sad to look at our community and see that we're struggling with this because a man was killed by a white cop. We know what the real problem is. I think we need to get to the real problem, get to the crux of the issue, because we are still searching for validation of our position in America. And it's not at the hands of someone else. We have to do it ourselves. We have to take back our vision, take back our lives, take back our understanding of who we are by way of improving our communities, improving ourselves, improving our children, and put the fathers back in the home. How dare we use this man's death as motivation to fix our deficiencies, our lack of consistency in our own communities, and people like Steven Jackson, Colin Kaepernick, and LeBron James, and Joe Biden, and all these people who appear to be visibly there to improve our communities, but they don't deal with the real problems facing our communities every single day. Steven Jackson spoke about it in reference to George Floyd's death, talking about his daughter and saying it crushed him. He got really emotional when he began talking about the fact that his daughter has to watch a black man die right in front of her. And that really destroyed him. And I'm saying, which murder or deaths is he referring to? Is he talking about the ones that are happening every day in places like the wards and the projects and Texas and Baltimore and New Orleans and Chicago and Detroit? Are those the ones that he's upset about? Are those the ones he's angry about? Because I'm confused. You know, as a kid myself, sitting in a church in Compton, California, off Alondra Boulevard, sitting there listening and watching as people cried, wailed, sang loud, and really just pressing in to find out exactly what God wanted from us, and asking God to pour out his blessing upon our black communities who were struggling with various things. And I said to myself, here I am, 40 something odd years later, and I'm still hearing a lot of churches, as happened at the funeral the other day. No disrespect to George Floyd. God rest his soul. I pray for him and his family, and I really, really hope that they can get through this, not just from a perspective of healing, but to see change. I hope we see true, legitimate, factual change. I've been talking about this same thing on these videos for 3 years, speaking of the issues that the black community is facing, speaking that the cops are not the main problem for us and our issues in our communities, and saying to myself, here we are 40 years later, and I'm seeing in churches that people are still crying, wailing, and saddened by what they see going on in the community. And that 40 years kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? 40 years. Interesting. That is 40 years that we've been kind of singing the same song. And it's been many, many years that black people have gone through various trials and tribulations. But now we found a new diversion. The new diversion is the cops and law enforcement. And I'm saying to myself, the increase in deaths and murders in our community, is that what we're wailing about? Are we in pain over those things? Are we really, really looking to fix those problems that still persist after all these years?
I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Let me just tell you what I see or what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II. And in many cases, it brings me to tears, thinking about all that has been sacrificed, not just those in the military, but for that matter, those throughout the civil rights movements of the 60s, and everyone and all that has been endured by so many people up until this point. And is everything right with our country right now? No, it's not. We still have a long way to go.
It pains me to watch. I'm sick and tired of watching this. This same old sad story about the protests and the riots. They've been going on year after year after year, and the problems in our community have gotten progressively worse at the hands of each other. And the problem won't go away. And we're looking at diversions like Drew Brees. I'm sorry? What is he apologizing for? Dabo Swinney, the coach of the Clemson Tigers, the coach for the Denver Broncos. You know, LeBron James and all these people are speaking up on these issues and focused on a white American man saying the apology, speaking an apology, or LeBron goes on social media and says, "Are we surprised?" No, surprised about what? Surprised that a man spoke his own opinion about something that he thought about standing or sitting for kneeling for the flag? I'm trying to figure out what's the big deal here. What did he do wrong? What are you mad about? If you listen to the clip, it was pretty clear he has an opinion, just like Colin Kaepernick. Remember that guy? The one who deserves to exercise his First Amendment rights, that dude? Yeah, same guy, right? But when another guy says it because he doesn't agree, that's the problem. He doesn't agree with the brother from the inner city. So because he disagrees, that's a problem. And let me give you some numbers before we go here, because you know I like the numbers. I want to deal with it. 330 million people in this country. Last year, 1,000 of them was killed by a cop. 34 were unarmed. 9 of that 34 were black. Interesting enough, all these murders going on, and we had 9 unarmed black men killed by law enforcement officers. I'm confused. That's not even 1% of the number of murders of black men who've been killed. Not even 1%. Now, why again are we upset? Why did the protest start? I'm sorry. And I get it again. George Floyd, man, I'm sorry for the fact that we got people who donned the badge as I've donned the badge. I know what it's like to be on the other side. And I can't stand to see men do their job this way. However, I don't want this man to die in vain because we're focused on diversions. We need to focus on the real issue. Let's get in the community. Let's do what we're supposed to. The Bible clearly tells us that a hope deferred makes the heart sick. I guess that's what we are, man. I guess we're just sick. We're so ill we can't even see the writing on the wall when you get numerous murders every single year at the hands of another person that looks like you, and we don't deal with it. Not even the little girl who was killed years back in the backyard while hanging with her family in the inner city. Not even a protest for that. Not of this magnitude. And the word of God also states, a lack of vision, people perish. Are we going to talk about vision? We definitely have to get the vision. That's why we get so easily diverted from what the real problem is. We need to find out what it is to care about each other. Look in the mirror, face the facts, and realize that we shouldn't look for someone else from another background, race, creed, or color to focus on taking care of us before we focus on taking care of ourselves. I got more to say. This is just the beginning. But you think about it.